Next up on the list is AC130 above, also known as Ness. Pretty good medic player, South American, and has a lot to say about the region and of experiences as a South American player coming into RGL. I'll go and let him introduce himself now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nez. I think Bliztank already said, and I'm very glad he invited me. And that's basically it. Thank you, Bliztank.
Fair enough. So let's start off. What got you into competitive at first?
At first, um, basically I started in like competitive TT around like 2000, the end of 2011, 2012, like start of 2012. Um, I don't know. I played a lot of like casuals, not casual at the time. It was like community service at the time. Basically, I was looking for some like more fun or some challenge, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then like I feel like a couple friends who like already in competitive, and then like we like form a team, and that basically started me playing as a roamer on sixes.
When did you get into Highlander?
Highlander was in 2014 when like my friend and like he plays until today, like Zolak. He invited me to his Highlander team, and then I started in UGC. I started as a demo man. I
Ah,
had no idea what I was doing.
Optimum was it? Would that be the team?
Yes, 100%.
How was it?
I mean, pretty much all the people like there was like sixes player, or they had no idea what they were doing. So our first match was in like like not granite, it was gravel pit, and we lost. And that basically, yeah, I remember it was super fun, but still we lost.
So what was it like getting into the South American Highlander scene at first?
At first, I mean, South American Highlander wasn't like the big picture of like South America. South America like was all about sixes. Sixes
Right.
was like the face of South America. People like always wanted to play sixes. Highlander was like always a second option. If you don't have anything to do, if you don't have like a puck to play on in sixes, you can try to kill for Highlander, and that's basically it.
When would you say South American Highlander was at its peak?
How to speak.
Yeah.
Um, I think like 2000 and like 19 2020.
So
uh
like right around COVID, kind of.
I think before even start COVID, like like I think 2018 to 2020, because at that time like a lot of like good players started like to come back to like TF2, and they're all Highlander players. We have like a bunch of like good players playing around, like Sinorax, who is like a heavy player. We have Capone, who's playing with his brother. um who else? We have Kovacs. We're playing to like we have a bunch of teams like all over the place. Was super funny to play.
I
And
even joined it.
also
So.
my friends like came back to play with me for one season. Then we like kind of quit.
Yeah, I never remember you got me into a season as like a South American Highlander demo or heavy, like and
Yeah,
heavy. That was pretty fun. So what was the reason for it kind of going on the decline again? It doesn't really seem like South American Highlander is that active anymore.
I mean South American Highlander like right now it's like bigger than sixes,
Oh well,
because
last time I
yeah,
talked.
yeah, that's really weird right now. That's like, if for some people it's like dark age, but like on Highlander we have more players than sixes. I don't know why. What's going on?
When did that
Basically,
happen, anyways?
when that happening, um,
Yeah, because I think last time I talked to you, it was like, oh, South American Highlander's kind of dead.
yeah. So apparently they are starting like a new like newcomer type of thing. Like they're trying to teach players. They're like trying to get a positive mental attitude towards like newcomer players in South America.
Oh, that's
They're
great.
even trying to help them, so they kind of like created a pug website so they can actually play pugs with like new players, and old players can actually help. Like
What?
they have a zero tolerance on toxic players, so like they get two strikes, they're out, like they're
That's
out
nice.
forever.
What's the website?
Uh, Let me see. Like it's like Highlander TF2 Cup BR, and they have
TF2
like the
what
own
cup?
pickup BR. I can send it you one sec.
Yeah, sure. I don't think I'm having luck finding it. But that's actually really interesting to hear, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
like
for a bit.
the
Sorry.
idea all started in sixes. Like the sixes guys, like they had nowhere to play it, like only on private servers for some players, and then I think it was Kovacs and someone else. I think Zolak also. They like pay like someone to like roast the website, and so they started this whole Pug Sixes group. So like everybody in sixes can play it. And then the Highlander had the same idea. Oh, like this is really good. This is working. We're gonna create our own one.
Yeah.
So people in like GATF2, like JATF2, were like anonymous players of tier two. They like the idea. They create the website with them, and they start this like good project.
Yeah, I feel like a good pug site or like group really helps a scene develop if it's like smaller and more niche. It just like really generates interest and allows people to connect.
Mm-hmm.
So for a bit, a lot of the South American players were kind of just like migrating to RGL for Highlander, right?
Yes. Like the reason why is like the same way like you said, like the Highlander is being dead or the six is like dying. Like basically all like what's going on is like people are stopped playing or they have like some like beef on some players or some kind of disagreement. Like every tiny bit happens and like people are like just want to like leave here because they see no future. They're not having fun anymore.
Hmm. And what do you say that like a lot of the players who moved to North American Highlander like still play it, or do you think most of them have also kind of filtered out at this point?
Like I'm gonna say by my part, like I kind of lost like kind of an interest between like South America. I just play with like friends and stuff because I like to hang around with them, or they ask me to like help them with something. That's basically it. Um, but like the reason why I play like started playing in RGL and like UGC like North America was like I didn't see South America being like any sort of like moving around with the meta or like adopting a new like stuff
Right.
because before like police actually to join like North America, we still like uber heavy and walk in with the heavy watering around.
Oh yeah, I remember doing some like South American games and just going like 50 kills, 400 something
Yes,
DPM on Ashwell heavy, 52% heals.
yes,
It
that's
was
basically
funny.
it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to play, but does it
On
see-
heavy perspective, yes.
yes. Do you think like South America has a bit more of a future now when it
I
comes to
mean,
competitive?
with like this new pod group starting, like people actually helping like newcomer players, I think they has a future, but still people are like some people are like not like welcoming. They don't want to change. They're in the safe bubble, if you know what I mean.
Right, right. Like they just wanted things to kind of stay the same.
Yes, they want to think to stagger and like stay like this. Or there's like a small part of people like they lost all their hope and they just want to die so they can revive it later as a phoenix.
That is indeed poetic.
Yes.
Wax poetic even. So how did you initially get into RGL anyways? Or like
Um
or NA in general,
like
I suppose.
RGL, if I remember right, I was playing on like not face, it was ESEA, like is there, right? I was playing with like Drugstore 420, Discord, TF, Melon, and someone else. I think I ranked like Wubs was there too. I think I ranked for Wubs once, and Zebra was there too. And they like, hey, do you have a Highlander team? Do you want to try out for mine? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And then I try out for Medic for like Home Depot,
Yep,
and then
I
like
remember.
all of this started. I had no idea like what the fuck was happening.
We had some fun times, Medic and Pyro.
Yes, because all my idea like about that time, like I'm pretty much like um the guy who just came by. I'm no one, if you know what I mean. I'm just gonna follow you and like don't say no to like I'm gonna say like yes to everything you guys said because I think you guys know better than me because you're like around here like much longer than me.
Hey, we had some nasty Pyro Ubers.
Yes.
Season 7. It was great. So what are some of your biggest issues with South America?
South America right now, like from my experience, I'm gonna say like I don't kind of care like if this like comes around or not. I'm just gonna say like we had a problem with like some sort of. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want to like people getting around or messing with him because that's basically it.
All right.
Like so he's like perma banned from like LBFTF and like uh I heard for someone who's very trustable, like they're like he was saying like if we don't like unban him, he's not gonna like put his mouth out to say, hey, let's play FBTF again. Hey, you should not play FBTF if they don't unban me because yada yada yada. And so that's basically it.
So it's like hugely influential people kind of just like battling out in the leagues getting caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, so like the thing is, um we have a really small community at the moment. Like even though we have like a bunch of newcomer people coming around, the higher divisions are like one team and maximum two teams. So imagine inviting NA being only two teams and that's it.
Yeah.
And there's a major gap on skill like among them both. So it is really hard to actually manage like two teams and like put two teams on like advance that you know they're gonna lose on invite, but still you need to like pick them up like two or three teams on like advance so they actually can fill up on the invite. That's basically like Brazil invite right now.
Hmm.
We have
Okay.
no like invite players like invite only one or two team at maximum.
So what were some of the things you liked about South America though? Like when it came to Highlander or Sixes and TF2 in general?
Like South America, like things that are like it's
Yeah.
basically like people like people are not changing at all. Like they are still like the same people in like 2015. They're still the same people like right now. So like if you know someone from back in the day, they're still the same person. They are still the same goblin that you used to know.
So it's like
So
sorry.
so like it is basically if you know like it's basically like a school type of shit. Like like you know everybody.
Right. And the upside of that is kind of that like if you have a good friend, like they're not really gonna change that much compared to like something like North America where it's a lot more volatile.
Yes, and even though if you have like someone you dislike, they're not gonna change. It's still gonna be like some a creature to you.
And I could see how that could be a bit of an issue with like a smaller player pool.
Yes.
Um, so what were your impressions of North American Highlander initially of RGL once you started like once you switched?
I mean, in, like when I started like in RGL, like everything's new. Like it is even though like you started in like new thing, you started like a new save file, if you know what I mean, in like
Yeah.
a new region, and then like everything is new. You want to discover everything. It's like a really good like feeling to have. Like you discover stuff. I discovered like Luigi's team, like Home Depot, was super fun to play with. I have like a lot of friends there, like Kagaman, you, Luigi, Zebra. I can name everybody.
Yeah, it was a very
Like,
fun group.
yeah.
Um,
And I don't see like me as like a player and as a person having problem with like anyone, like even on a team and like outside of the team. I don't feel like I had enemies like before and like right now in RGO.
right.
Because yeah.
I feel like that's one of the benefits of like an out of region player. It feels like it's just like a lot harder to really get on people's bad side. It feels like, coming as an outsider.
Yes.
Um, so did anybody really like outside of the team, how was your reception? Like, did people treat you well mostly, or were some of them like kind of rude? Like, what was the social response to you playing in RGL?
I mean, whenever people like they're not like familiar with me, they're like, okay, we have like a South American here. I don't know what to do. Like, is he okay? Can he speak English? Like, like in my mind, I have like those thoughts. Like, I don't think they're gonna like me at all. Like, because like I'm not from here. I don't know. Those type of thoughts come in my mind. Like, I'm very paranoid, like paranoid person, paranoid.
That's
So
fair. Did any of that actually end up like ever like
Uh,
seeming to become the case?
like only one two cases, but like they're out of like like they are super way out of like this like kind of conversation because like they are separate occasions. I
That's
think
fair.
I understand like stuff like in the wrong way, and like it kind of like snowball it, and then we kind of like started it out.
Okay. Um, what's one of the things you don't like about RGL, like that hasn't really rubbed you the right way as an out of region player?
RGL being like, okay, I don't think it's like an RGL issue. It's just like kind of like North American issue. It is weird when you know someone and like someone it's like a very high rank in like NA in general. So I remember I was ranking for like one team like as medic, and then like some like the other ringer was bitching at me because I was not healing him enough. So he started like calling me like really kind of bad
Oh
words. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
No, I
And I
get
was
you.
like, what is wrong with him? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, the player culture can be a bit iffy here, I want to say definitely.
So that's one thing that I like kind of encountered was like very weird, but like still one case is out of like many. So
Right.
kind of don't care.
It's all about like the people you surround yourself with, yeah. So overall
Yeah.
you'd say you've had like a pretty good experience, yeah?
I mean, yeah, I had a pretty good experience. Like people like here like have been treating me very well. So like I have not like saying like I don't feel like I'm saying like bad stuff to like all of them because they treating me very well. So it's really
Right.
like a positive thing to me. So I'm like very like happy with in general stuff.
Do you want to go ahead and queue for some casual now, by the way?
Sure, sure.
I feel like I've been on your profile for a bit. I'm just awkwardly looking at it now. Your RGL. There's only so many things to go to. So anyways, what is one thing you think RGL as a league could do better when it comes to like out of region players, if anything, or do you think they do a pretty respectable job of it?
I mean, this all like restriction from like South Americans or like out of region players. I know how it started. It started like when it was a team full of like invite players in Brazil. I know it's a like small pool, but still we have like a full like 9 stack, 18 stack of like high skilled players in Brazil. And then on first season of RGL, um I think they got into like IM or amateur. I don't kind of remember the
Yeah, I
name.
think it was like the Time slash Rolex team. Yeah,
Yeah, so
Strobe, that guy.
they just put like them into like IM on amateur, and they like full steamroll like the whole season, and people actually got really mad at it. So that's basically how it started.
Right, and it's like you can kind of get where RGL's coming from. Yeah,
I mean, I don't think it's like they are coming from me. I think like it's more like a side effect. Like I'm just getting the shrapnel from it.
yeah, like you weren't responsible for that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
because
definitely unfortunate.
because like when I was trying to like queue up for like France team, basically like I having like 2 or 4 Brazilians or like South Americans, like Argentinian players. Shout out to them because I really enjoyed them. But and though I can't because there's a like non South North America restriction about like 3 players in
I
the
think
team.
I think these days though it's only like if you have 150 ping or over.
Yeah,
I believe they changed it at some point.
I don't think so. They still have like if you have more South Americans than like North American player, the team is not allowed to play.
Okay. So I know there's just South America kind of has ways like ping in the region. Yeah.
Um, like
Yeah.
paying it depends from like classes for being like an issue.
Yeah, but like for more support over like projectiles, I would imagine that'd be a kind of consistent issue.
No, like projectiles is just pure hell. I even
Mm.
tried to play pyro like in high ping. It's still like it's worse than having prod.
Yeah,
It's still a
and it's like
prison.
there's fairly consistent ping issues throughout the region, right? Like if
Yeah,
like some people get better connection to North America
yeah,
than to
better
South
route
America.
connection and like better servers. I don't know. It's just like internet stuff.
Yeah, kind of sucks. Um, what is like? What sort of thing would make you interested in going back to the South American leagues? Like, what do you think they'd need to change for that?
They need to change. That is a really hard question because I was talking with like two of my friends who has been like admins in like South American too, and like we were talking about this, and we came up in a conclusion that like it is hard to say, but like the community is just trying that like itself from inside. Like people like they're not trying to they like they're sabotaging themselves, but like they don't know about it. Like they can't.
Right.
They're like they're things they're doing. They're sabotaging, but like they don't know. Like they don't know about it. So what could be like they're doing it wrong that could change? I think the perspective that they like put themselves into hey, I know that I didn't record a demo and I need to be punished, but like, hey, we have a really small community, so don't ban me because of this. So imagine this cage escalating into something else. Like, hey, I know I got a VAC ban, so but we have a really small community. Please don't ban me.
I see. I'm going to join a community server, by the way, like just like a random one, because I don't think we're getting into casual.
Okay.
If you want to go and join off of me.
Yeah, I'm gonna join.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. So it's like, hmm. I don't know. What sort of change would you try to like implement yourself, though, if you were in the position to? Or do you think it really would just have to come from like a community-wide level and not really like staff?
A community wide, like I think it's already been doing. Like we have like this group I talk like newcomers are coming towards like
Right.
pugs and stuff. I think this is already being implemented. I think it's like a wrong, not wrong, I mean I think it's a long way to put it, but I think it's like even though it's long, like the long road to build up like a community from the ground, I think we need to have like a player base right now before we even started to like think about like invite. So imagine if like NA doesn't have like the player base. Like we have like newcomer, amateur. Imagine if you don't have those type of like players. We only have like invites and like advanced players.
Hmm.
We don't
Yeah.
have anybody else. So we don't have a player base. So who's gonna like substitute those people in the future when they quit?
Right, and it's just like really hard to kind of compensate for that to build that up from the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, so like we don't have like pay like base players right now. So
Right.
we don't have any reference from like low what do you call low division players.
Hmm.
So that's the issue like for me right now. I think we need to have like new players who are there like they are coming right now actually. Like they're gonna keep like getting like their skill level up, playing MGE, playing a lot of pugs. So like this is a long process, but still this is like a healing process for like South America.
Mhm. And do you think that like there'd be North American interests as well, like some of the more southern North American players? Do you think they would kind of like try and do some teams as well, or like fill in for some of the gaps?
You mean in South America?
Yeah.
Uh, like South America never has like in North America or like EU or anywhere else like players come by. Like we all been like a very like a zone like a region who never comes by with like a new player like an outsider, if you know what
Ah,
I mean.
that's fair. Yeah.
Like you're one of like the pioneer person who came by, if you know what I mean.
Beast. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting.
like EU players as well. Like we have like maximum 5 EU players like playing like all over the like seasons. Um, you I think someone else plays as well. I don't kind
Yeah, I
of
think
remember.
Ukanga. So what's the
Yeah,
current state of the South American meta?
meta right now. I think people are trying to adopt and trying to like to put it like in South American way, the same like meta as NA, because we kind of have a lot of influence from like Capone, Mujet, Locks who played in RGL as well. Um, and they are actually trying to implement the same meta in NA to like South America
Right.
because the meta, if you know what I'm saying, like imagine Asheville, we're still holding underpoint
Yeah, no,
for
it just felt like always just like very chaotic and individualistic, kind of just like out DMing other people and tanking one
yeah.
person.
Like in South America, I know people like in North America also like this like kind of steal, but like in South America, it's basically we don't care about like we don't kind of care about like strategic maps. Like we kind of just want to out DM them. That's basically what you
Right.
said. I remember when I was like helping like a cast in like crits cast. Um, like the other guy was saying, like it's very chaotic, like madness all over the place. Like there's a small fight there, small fight here. Spy like fighting a sniper at spawn. There's like very weird stuff happening, like every like tiny bit of the map. Like at the same time, everything's going on. It is really hard to like understand what's going on, and like you get what is going on in the like small pieces.
Right. So is that kind of like exciting? You've seen people just kind of adopt.
Yeah, like in 2015, we're still like 2016, we're still holding like under in like Asheville. Imagine.
Yeah. I saw the
So
same sort, well, not like the same as, but like the same sort of thing happening in Australia, like around over like quarantine or like towards the end of it. Like teams would get like demo reviews from somebody like Bowl of Mayo, and kind of import a little bit of that. It's just sort of interesting to see. Um, so what are your favorite classes to play on ping usually? Like, what do you usually end up playing as an out of
mm,
region player?
like I'm a main medic. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy playing medic, but
Right.
still I'm kind of burned out of medic. Uh, I don't know. Like I enjoy playing heavy medic, spy, and like engineer. Engineer is like hella fun right now for me.
That's fair. How impactful did it feel for Medic?
Impactful medic.
Yeah, the ping.
Um, like you need to get used to. Like ping is not one of the things that you like understand from like the first time you're playing. You need to get used to it because even though the arrows are weird, it has like fucking 2 seconds of delay. It's really annoying. Um, like another part, it's like whenever they're using crits, you need to know by like 2 seconds ahead, like they kind of like wanted to walk in, because imagine if you don't understand the call out, they're walking in, they use crits and you die because slow brain is like and like ping issue.
Right, so it's like you have to predict it more, or like be able to know
Yes,
in
it's really
advance.
more predict, like you need to predict like 2 seconds ahead what's going on.
Do you think it's made you a smarter player for it though?
And some sort of, yeah, like
Hmm.
you kind of predicted what's going on and you try to understand their like kind of movement before it's even happening, so you pre you pre-fill up like someone what they need in advance. So like if you throw a sandwich, like you throw a sandwich like 2 seconds ahead when the medic needs it, or you throw an arrow whenever like a demo is bombing, you hit it in the air, he's waiting for an arrow, like, and then he realizes, hey, you're a enemy.
And do you think just having that sort of understanding and experience will like help you on lower ping as well? Typically, like if you
Yes,
ever,
100%, 100%.
yeah, it's pretty nice.
Because you're gonna start doing things like in advance that you just gonna like imagine you're constructing like a like building a like a bridge, and all the base is already built and people are waiting to put like the things in like on top of the bridge, so people are not realizing, oh, the like the base is already built, so let's start it, and that's basically it.
Right. How about the South American casual scene? What's that like these days?
The teams,
The casual
like
scene,
six
casual,
casual.
yeah, like matchmaking community servers in game.
We still have like the Dust Hotter default bot, my god, and those kind of like bots and stuff. It is really funny because my like Dust Hotter always goes scout with in like spy busting with like scout on bat. And occasionally he goes like engineer and builds a sentry in like weird places, but still, like I kind of say like 60% it's like a good game without the bots, and like 40% is a pub stomp.
Hmm. How does it feel compared to North American casual servers? If you've had the opportunity to play on some of those as well.
Um, I kind of have like a small sample of like playing casual, but it's like 90% of the games we had like a good game. Like we lost one, but like was a tight game. And like 10% was like, okay, we have like 40 bots in the enemy team. Let's leave.
Yep, MVM.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Have you had a particularly good or bad staff experiences with RGL people, players, and admins?
Um, I don't think I can say like bad way, like guard, if you know what I mean, with like a staff. I only remember like when Will Medic was like on staff. Um, he like what happened with God of Blast was really weird because God of Blast was like me, Nerdaloid, Menlo, uh, Bacon, some sort of like those players. I
Right.
Rain on Spy. So they like we played like invite quals. We lost like 2-1-1, and even though we like try our best, we weren't trying to like throw it. We're still getting class restriction, and like every single class was getting like class restriction from those players. So like Nerd like could not play demo or like heavy or like scout. He can only play this class. Everybody could like was having like sniper class restricted. So like our sniper was, I think was Shay, got class
Yeah.
restricted. Rain got like restriction to only spy, and it was actually very weird. What happened there?
Okay, yeah, definitely
That's my
sounds like it.
only like weird experience because I think my whole team got like class restricted and that killed the team.
So, do you feel like constantly becoming the new head admin for Highlander and Wilmatic stepping down is a good thing,
Um,
or is it
even
not
though
something you
like
really have enough experience with?
I never experienced like this before because like I kind of don't remember who was the head admin before like I even started because I wasn't paying enough attention who it was.
Right, right.
So like Wilmatic was the one that I actually noticed and like people were like talking and stuff.
I think
Uh,
like season 8 to like I don't know, season 6 or 5 or something was Micah. Before that, I think it was like Exa, and then after season 8, I think it was like Wilmatic or season 9, one of the two. I think season 9 maybe, and now it's gonna be constantly.
Yeah, so I haven't like had problems with any like Micah or like
Hmm,
Exa before, like
right.
no problem.
Did you have any like interesting interactions with admins though as a result of like being an out of region player?
The only interaction that I had was like I remember what happened like last season, I think, for what do you call for my team. We are like trying to play on like advanced, like popular pipes. We're playing in advance. We try to like invite calls. um I'm not gonna say like because I'm kind of biased, but what happened, so I'm gonna say in like in partial way. So we played the quals. We didn't like try to like throw it, but like our demo like didn't want to play invite, neither are heavy. So and me, because I have to pay, and like $1
Okay.
is like six of my currents. Like
Yeah, that's
imagine
fair.
this is like kind of very expensive to me, but still it's not an issue. And it's like we didn't try to throw it, but the thing what happened was like um we play like invite, we lost the qualifiers. The first team who were playing the qualifier like died, and then we were the second. We didn't say like this is like, hey, this is like unfair, so let's die as well. So we kind of died, and two bottom teams on invite calls, uh they got moved up to invite, and that's basically what happened.
Yep. So would you say like RGL could maybe like be hidden in qualifiers a bit better in specific?
I think so. Even though I'm out of region player, I think I think like putting more. I'm not gonna say effort because I think everybody's putting effort to like
Right.
everything because they're doing it because they want to, and it's like I think they could give more attention. I think that's a nicer way to put it, to like qualifiers and stuff.
It feels like
Um,
a lot of the time teams just like throw and then get off kind of scot free with qualifiers, and then sometimes it's just like completely random. You know what I mean? With like
yeah, yeah,
who
yeah, hundred
actually
percent.
gets punished. All right, all right.
What happened next, we were putting into main because we tried to like off class, even though one thing is I actually know it's a problem, that I agree 100%. I think whenever the notice that you get like, hey, you're in quals, and whenever they like post the match um schedules, they put like one day or at the day that we are gonna play it. Like we have no sort of a like waiting or like preparing ourselves. So like we're playing quals and that's it. Because like whenever quals ends, its regular season start. So it is really strange the way that you, okay, let's play quals. We ended up quals. Like right now, next one day or two, we're playing the actual season. We don't have time to prepare ourselves.
Okay. Yeah, no, I definitely get that. Do you feel like you get enough representation as an out-of-region player? Like, do you feel like RGL accommodates you enough that, like, you're able to, like, talk about concerns to staff members and get, like, answers if you need to?
I mean, I never had the experience, but still, I think that like this small sample of staffs that I interact with, they all treated me very well. Even Will Medic, I like talk with him. He treated me very well. I think I talked with like Spaz question mark. I don't remember. They
Space
treat me
Ghost
very well.
Coffee?
I think so.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
treat me very well. So like, I'm not like kind of wanting to like say bad stuff because
That's always nice.
yeah.
Let's. If you had the opportunity to like volunteer for staff work or like the time to, would you do that as an out-of-region player?
Yeah, 100%.
Hmm.
Like, even though like I'm an out of region player, I always wanted to help, and I wanted to keep this game alive in sort of way. Like, you're talking with like a player in a region that like the game is dying, and we
Right.
wanted to have people like actually helping, not like trying to kill it even more.
And it's just like you want to make sure that same fate doesn't happen in other areas. Yeah.
Yes, 100%, 100%.
I really respect that. Yeah, it's pretty noble. Okay. Have you
Because like I have like all the bad sort of like experience of like what's going on in like here, like in South America. I don't want that same thing like happening into other regions,
right?
because like people like, hey, I know I got a VAC ban, please don't ban me. I really respect when like admins or like staff members does not like say, no, I'm not gonna unban you, or like, hey, I'm still gonna ban you anyway.
Have you ever applied to RGL?
Um, so I think I was talking with like someone, and like I don't remember who I was talking to, but like yeah, I applied to RGL being like a middleway between like RGL staff and like helping like non South, like not South America, but like any player that's come by like out of region.
Right, like
Because
an out-of-region expert, like help them like
yeah,
know
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
who's
100%.
trustworthy, who cheats, all that stuff. Just giving them information. Yeah, helping them
Yeah,
out.
and even though like being the like public relations of South America and like North America, that's
Right.
what I was applying for.
And what came from that? How was the reception?
Nothing, no response.
Huh. I feel like that's definitely like a missed opportunity in RGL's part. Like, I feel like it would have been very beneficial to them considering like the interest of South American players in the region for a bit. And so that's kind of interesting to hear about.
Mm-hmm.
How long ago was this at this point?
When I like applied to it,
Yeah.
2 years, I think.
Uh,
2-3 years.
And after that, you like sort of felt dejected and just didn't apply again, kind of.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm like, I didn't get an answer, so like like figured out like they are not like wanting me around, or like just said no, so I'm not gonna do it again because I already got a no. I don't think
Right.
the answer would change.
I mean, maybe it changed with like just differing goals, differing contexts, like differing admins. I don't know. It's just like no harm done for trying, in my opinion. Let's see. Yeah, so it sounds like you've had a pretty good time. And RGL sounds like they've been pretty nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any questions you have in mind that you would want to answer for yourself?
For myself,
Yeah.
like I actually wanted to ask you, like, how was your experience in South America? That's something I was like wondering around.
It was
Because-
very. Sorry. Carry on.
Because like if you know what I mean, my experience in South America, that like I know everybody knows me. It's like you live in an egg, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you know everybody, you know what's going on in like every single place.
So
So
it was very interesting. I do appreciate the help you gave me, by the way, like when it came to getting onto teams. So the first team you got me on, it was actually pretty fun. I played heavy for a little bit, but then it's just like we had some roster switches. I felt like we kept switching rosters, and it was very chaotic. But it was also just like such a unique and fun experience. Like I would just like kind of go in stem and all the time. It was really fun. It was cool just like getting used to them and on higher ping. I will say though it was very awkward because a lot of the time like there'd only be like one person who understood that much of what I'd say, and sometimes they'd have to translate it, and it was just very awkward. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like I'm gonna say more apart in Brazil because I don't know, like in Argentina, Chile, and like uh Uruguay, those like countries. Like in Brazil, English it's like you learn at school, but like English in school it's not that bad, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it's really kind of like cool in English in school, but like if you want to really get an effort on in English, you need to like go in a private school and like try to like
Right.
learn it more.
But yeah, overall I had a pretty fun time there. There was just like a little bit of a communications gap. Like I had a hard time kind of like learning the language when most of my exposure to it was like in game and I was juggling all the other regional stuff. It definitely wasn't as much of an issue at like really any other region because like in Europe a lot of the teams like share English as a mutual language. In North America it's of course English. Australia was English. Asia was like fairly English, but a lot more quiet and introverted. And I want to say like it was definitely awkward like with the communicative difficulties, but it was still kind of fun regardless, just due to how chaotic it was. But then I think the UGC team you tried to get me on, like it's just like they understood even less. It was just like so unfun to try and do and so awkward, you know what I mean? Because it just felt impossible to coordinate.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's like that's fair. Like honestly, it's not really on the team. It's just kind of on you as an out of region player at that point. It's like yeah, you're not gonna be able to coordinate too much in that context unless you like really grind out and learn the language. But it was a really unique experience, and the people are super fun and interesting to be around. And at one point, I think it was like the pyre on our team or so described my voice as very passionate.
Yeah.
And I was just like blushed emoji. But yeah, honestly, the people were like so much fun to be around. They were super fun to play with. It was very refreshing compared to America, which is like so much more developed or like just strategy centric. It was fun just kind of having people like follow me around and do whatever.
Yeah, because like even though like I said, like you're not a region player, people actually respect kind of more players who like have higher experience. Like,
yeah.
Even though you came from like NA, they're gonna respect you even more because you kind of like know better, and they are like, okay, let's try what he's doing because it's like he was on high ping, it's working. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
like my reality is a lie.
I definitely enjoyed it. Like they did feel very respectful, yeah, even though like there was a communication issue. Sometimes like they felt very respectful and like appreciative, yeah, and they were just very supportive in general, which I really enjoyed.
Like I said, I think you ended up in a really good team and sort of like
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. And honestly, it's just really fun in general having like some context from other regions and just being able to like get onto teams off of each other, like play with each other. It's just super nice in general because it's like sometimes it's hard to get a gauge. Like one, it's hard to kind of get out there yourself as a player unless you have friends like in another region. You know what I mean? And then even if you get on a team, it's like there's no guarantee it'll necessarily end up being like that healthy of a like team relationship, yeah, because like sometimes they just like won't respond that well to you as an out of region player. Like it really just depends, though, yeah. And it's really nice to just like have a guide of sorts.
Yeah, that's one thing that I like. After you finish, I was like wanting to talk. It's like for like an out of region player, like out of like North American player, it is really hard to get into it because you don't know anyone, no one knows you, and you're a high ping player. Why should I pick you up?
And also, if you look at like something like the RGL Discord, it's like there are like hundreds and hundreds of LFT posts daily, basically. Yes. So it's like you just kind of gotta know somebody, yeah.
Like, why should I pick up like a high ping player instead of like a low ping player?
Right, but then you compare it to a region like I don't know, Australia, Asia, like where there is a much smaller player base and a much more need for players, and it's like even if you aren't as known, a decent bit of the time people resort to like out of region options, yeah. But then even in like South America, something like that, it's just like a lot more accessible because there's just so much less people actively looking, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that definitely makes sense, yeah.
So like you asked me before, what one thing I could change in like NA
Yeah.
is like I don't think I can change people's mind by saying like, hey, I know this guy have high ping, but like give him a try, like trust him. Does not be disrespectful to him, even though he's like South America. Like try to trust him like a little bit. I think he's gonna like be cool about it and he's gonna try his best.
So maybe just like for people to be a bit more open-minded about like ping, like, and then it kind of.
Like not ping, because imagine if you show up with 300 ping and you warp around and like you
Well, I mean, like
off.
consistent ping, like.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like something that you kind of brought up though that would be very interesting is just like having like people that kind of help manage stuff for out of regions, because NA has like so much infrastructure, pretty much like when it comes to all like RGL, like a very compassionate and caring league, and a lot of people that care. And it'd be very interesting to just like see like, I don't know, just like community managers, like people that help like out of region players, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, maybe they could like send them the way of like teams that need players or something. Oh, it would just be very interesting to see like RGL attempt to like take, and I feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity to not do anything about it. And I feel like it'd be like a very interesting and rewarding position for like anybody who is put into it, because it's like the sort of work they really want to do. And I feel like it'd really help expand the scene, like for both RGL and other regions. And I feel like that's one of the huge things TF2 just hasn't really had much of, like just that sort of cross-regional cooperation, like liaisons between regions. And it's like, I feel like that's something that could definitely be integrated and worked on, yeah. I think.
I mean, I think being on RGL as like a South American player, I think I'm in a good spot right now, because we have a bunch of like influencers came by from like South America to come by to like North America.
Right.
Like, I think I already talked about them before, but still, I think things are getting much better than was in the past. And like, hey, we have like a Brazilian here, let's send him back to Brazil, if you know what I mean. And like, I know that's a meme, but like, still, people are
Yeah.
not trusting me enough,
No,
or like those people.
I do get that it's like, you know, kind of finders currently that's not like that much of an issue, but I definitely feel like just for like going forward into the future, it'd definitely be interesting to kind of see like more attempt at cross-regional cooperation. Yeah. Okay, anything else you want to like ask or talk about?
Nah, I'm cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. I have like a bit less of just like a broad range of topics to talk about for this one. Yeah. And I do have the demo review to get to. Okay, yeah. I think that'll be it for this. Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure interviewing you.
It was very cool.
And teams that need players, hit up AC130.
Yeah.